Welcome to Chapter 4 of How to Improve NASCAR Video Games. Today, we will be discussing ideas about small features we can add to the game that perhaps incentivize people to purchase this game. The more content we can add to the game, the better. After all, you are paying upwards of $60 for the product. Some of these features I'll be discussing have been done before, 20 years ago. However, I would like to remind everyone that some of these features may not be as important as the first few things we have talked about, such as presentation, customization, but these things could be considered. After all, we have a reasonably improved NASCAR gaming experience from past titles. But without further ado, let's talk about how these seemingly small features can add so much to the game and perhaps make the game more playable. Feature number 1, have an automatic crew chief. In the real world, crew chiefs can make or break a race team's success on the racetrack. While the drivers may be in control of the race car itself, the crew chief's adjustments and race strategies are a majority of what keeps their team's competitive chances alive. In recent NASCAR games, there hasn't really been a legitimate crew chief character in the game that actively talks to you and helps you be successful on the track. Why not include a crew chief in the game that you can interact with, who not only can be by your side in the career mode story, but also help you adjust the race car. Most players casually playing the game are not engineers, so they may not be as knowledgeable about how you set up a car in practice, qualifying, and in the race itself. We can have this crew chief help you adjust the car to make it handle the way you want it to. This could definitely make practice as a much funner experience rather than something players are tempted to skip over. Have a look at this Project Cars 2 footage with what they call the engineer, which is basically an automatic crew chief.
Our race engineer will ask you some questions. What is the issue with the braking on your car? And he'll give you some options, or she will give you some options depending on which engineer is working in your crew in this modern world. So some of the questions are, I'm not stopping in time, I'm stopping too quickly, I keep sliding when I'm braking. So you can click on one of these options here and we'll start having a look at some different things. So clicking on that first one, if you're not already doing so, I'd recommend braking a little earlier for the turns. Aside from that, changes to brake pressure or brake bias may also help. We can either look at increasing the brake pressure to improve brake power, or we can shift the brake bias. We can look at increasing brake pressure, which will make them more powerful. So having a look here, that's the options that they give you is increasing the brake pressure from 89 to 90%, moving the brake bias, or we can just go back to the race engineer menus or the other menus. So have a quick look at here. So remember how I had the tuning was at 89%. So if I click on that, it'll take it to 90%. And just going on here, I'm not stopping in time. One of the other options was, well, it can show you here by already changing it to 90%, and now it's offering to change to 91%. We can also look at moving the brake bias. So we might change it to, say, moving the brake bias a little bit more rearwards, considering this car is a mid-engine car, can certainly use a little bit more rear brake in my own opinion, but everybody will be different on that one. So if we move the brake bias rearwards from current balance of 55-45 to 54-46 more to the rear.
The next feature includes some unlockables. We as players always talk about how most games struggle with replay value and simply keeping the players engaged with the experience for a longer period of time than usual. One of the reasons for this is that there has not been much else to race for other than wins and championships. So my idea is to bring back what used to be called Thunder Plates, an old EA feature that gave players items to play for and unlock if they had enough of their in-game currency to spend. The in-game currency can simply be earned by completing races and gaining experience on the racetrack. Winning can earn you twice the amount of currency. If you make enough, you can unlock cool items such as new tracks, paint schemes, or even more customization options for your own cars. This could combat the need for DLC, as new items can be added through updates. Surely these unlockables will entice people to play longer, as there will always be something to race for. And here's an example of that. If you unlocked a Thunder Plate for a Alan Kulwicki, Ford paint scheme, or whoever's paint scheme, Bill Elliott's cars, Dale Earnhardt's cars, any Legends cars are just simply new paint schemes, like an alternate Kyle Busch or Chase Elliott paint scheme of some sorts. You can just unlock it if you make enough points to unlock that particular plate, and the game will grant you access to the item. Time to sign autographs. In the real world, one of the ways that drivers can boost their reputation is by interacting with fans and signing autographs. In the late EA titles, such as NASCAR 06 and NASCAR PSP as well, which is the one that I played between those two titles, you could sign autographs by clicking buttons on the screen as fast as possible to sign as many autographs as possible. The more you can sign, the more reputation points you can earn. Sign them too slow, and you may lose some points on your reputation. You can sign autographs at the track or have an autograph booth in your race shop, which is the race shop that I talked about last episode. As Disco Inferno 70 mentioned in the last live stream, having a booth for the autographs, because there was booths for, the engine shop and the tires and all that. Have a booth in there that also allows you, have like a fan zone inside of there. It's basically the idea we were trying to bring out. This is a fun mini game, a simple one that added some more immersion to the experience of being a fictional race car driver. And I don't have an exact video of this feature working in the older game, so I threw together this little image here of what it used to be like. So if a button popped up next to a fan, that means you gotta sign their item. So you have to click it as fast as you can, click as many of them. Sometimes you're gonna have to click the circle, square, triangle, or whatever button, the X button. They're just gonna pop up really quickly because the fans are coming at you with all kinds of items they want you to sign. So you have to do it as fast as possible. If you do it too slow, or you don't do it at all, because sometimes that mistakenly happens, then you're gonna lose some points. But the faster you do it, the more points you gain. And guess what? All these points can be added to your reputation meter. So the cooler and nicer you are with the fans, you're gonna get extra points for that on your reputation. And of course, it's going to be your player doing that. Of course, this is a Daniel Hemrick picture, but just pretend that's somebody you made up. So, why did that caution come out? Caution replays have been a confusing exclusion in NASCAR games, mainly recent NASCAR games. These games clearly show the wrecks and accidents with no real struggle in the replay mode. Why not show the caution replays when the caution comes out as you are playing? Caution replays are what keep the player updated on why a caution comes out. It could be for big wrecks, someone blowing a tire, running out of fuel, being stopped in the middle of the track, or something as simple as debris on the racetrack. So here's a video from the Technics game.
There's your next victim right there. Three wide, you're in the middle. Far out your door, down low, at your door.
Wow.
Looking low.
There it is.
Caution's out.
They throw out the caution in the game, and then they cut to what happened. So this is the crash. This is why the caution came out. I mean, of course, you were in it, but any crash at all that happens, they should still have the replay for it, regardless. The next idea, pit road mistakes. In the old EA titles, your pit crew either made or broke your chances at victory. Just like the crew chiefs, everything entitling your crew can really decide if you win the race or not. When your pit crew messed up on pit road, the word fumble or fail would pop up. It's a heartbreaking feeling for the player who raced all race long, mistake-free all day, just for your pit crew to fumble the last pit stop on you. Of course, it could happen at any point of the race. This makes pit stops more realistic. Keep in mind that these mistakes on pit road can happen at any point of the race, as I mentioned. If your pit crew is undertrained and underperforming, you may have to train them or replace them altogether. As you can see, this is another random image or visual. I couldn't show the NASCAR PSP footage or the EA footage, So what I did was I threw together this little image right here. So let's say you pitted and they're showing like the pit sequence and they're making a mistake. You could say slow stop, fumble, penalty. Have like a couple of slogans in there randomized. So you got penalty and you lost X amount of spots. In this picture, you lose 20 spots or whatever amount of spots. It could really affect your race in the long run if your pit crew makes a mistake. They actually got this in the old EA games, so we need to bring this back. These pit stops are becoming too predictable. And last but not least, and I'm going to turn the music off because this is really the serious part of the video, and this is not a small feature, but it is a feature that needs to be in there. It's pretty big for a list here compiled of just small details. This is obviously the most important, which is why it came last. Last but not least, you must have statistics. They're what keep the player engaged with the career mode. It keeps track of what you do in your career. How many top 5s, top 10s, DNFs, laps led, etc. Every other sports game has statistics. Maybe if you have good enough stats, your character can make it to the Hall of Fame. Other racing games also have statistics. Mario Kart games have statistics. NASCAR games are racing/sport titles. Statistics are
the most basic aspect of a sports game.
Without stats, the career mode play value is null and void. Also, cap the career mode to at least 25 seasons. No career should last forever. And here is what the stats breakdown should look like. This is from racingreference.com. These are the kind of stats. Of course, you can make it much simpler in the game itself, but bottom line is, you have all the categories of stats you can earn, and of course, it keeps track of everything you've done in your career. This is the career stat breakdown, which thankfully NASCAR 21 Ignition had, but the rest of the game was trash, so it got overlooked. But in a game that's good, or any game at all, you need to have statistics in there. Otherwise, why are you even playing the career mode at this point? Like, stats are the most basic feature you can have in any game. You gotta have something in there that helps you keep track of your stats, all the things that you do in a game. And of course, in a racing game, you know, top 5s, top 10s, poles, laps, earnings, rank, average finish, all that stuff. The amount of races you've run, what year, the age of your character. I mean, I'm more so focused on, you know, wins, top 5s, top 10s, DNFs, laps, just the most important stuff. But here's what the statistical breakdown looks like. So there you have it, guys. That's how the stats should look. Please don't make another NASCAR game with no stats. Because then if you do that, well, yeah, I think I'm going to be really, like, surprised. And of course, we'll definitely know someone else that makes videos that will have a catastrophic, hysterical meltdown if there's no stats. So please put the stats in there. And no, I know I keep saying, like, that, like, all these details are small and all that stuff, like, they don't have to be there, but stats have to be in the game. So I should have put this, like, in a different video, or maybe a video of its own, but I put it in here, in this video, because I'm adding all, like, features to the game. So keep that in mind. Stats are the most important thing in a career mode. In conclusion, while most of these features are seemingly small, except the stats need to be there. Let me clarify that. They can add so much to the gaming experience overall. These features make the game more playable and keep you around longer because there's always something new to accomplish and to race for. You're doing it like your career in this game, your character's life in this world and their commitments matter. Like, I don't know how you would leave that out of a game, but that's why this video is being made. That's why all these videos are being made. Just stuff we need to have in these games that are, you know, lacking in modern titles. So that was a rather quick episode compared to all the others, but now it's time for your opinions. Do you viewers out there agree with the ideas presented in this video? Do you think that these features are necessary and vital to the success of these games? Please let us know in the chat. Thank you for watching, And thank you for your participation in the Disco Inferno live stream, which is where I hope to get this video this Wednesday coming up. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be the episode about the bonus features. So, like I said, you know, the prompt is on the screen. You know, let's all have an interactive conversation in the comments section and the chat of the Disco Inferno 70 live stream. And yeah, guys, thank you all for checking out this video. Thank you for Disco Inferno 70's support of showing these videos in his live streams. You know, I honestly, these videos I would rather have on his live stream as well, because, and the reason for that is because I've been watching Disco Inferno 70 for a while, I value his points that he adds on, which is why it's so sad that the Wi-Fi is bad, outside of his control, obviously. Because, like, I always like to know what things he adds on, because there are things that he adds on that I may not have even mentioned in the video. So, yeah, guys, if you guys feel like you gotta add anything, now's your chance. So, thank you all for checking out this video. Comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for the support, and we will see you guys in the next video. And always remember to make sure you know what you're doing when you're putting decals on your diecast.